listening to Ella was Maurice MacLeod, or is Maurice MacLeod, should I say, the anti-racist campaigner, social commentator and Labour councillor. Maurice, good evening. Welcome to the programme. Maurice, we're hoping to... you can hear
sorry,
us.
Henry,
Perhaps you muted yourself.
I have unmuted myself.
Okay, right. I hope you heard Ella Whelan there saying that people need to remember that the far right in this country is unorganised, small and unpopular and always has been due to societal progress. Let's not exaggerate the threat. People need to calm down. Let's not go over the top here. What's your response to that?
Yeah, to be honest, I can understand why that's a useful message, because I think that there is a lot of fear. I mean, I don't know about you, but I certainly have been speaking to people all over the country, black and brown people, who are genuinely afraid. This isn't some nasty articles in a newspaper or a politician saying something dodgy. This is people on the streets being attacked, which I don't really remember, in any big numbers. Obviously, there's been things like Stephen Lawrence and Anthony Walker, but there's not been these, mass race riots, as what I'd call them. Since the 70s and the 80s. This is something that I thought was in Britain's past. In that
case, why do you think it was stirred up in a way so easily by something that had nothing to do with British Muslims or cultural differences? It was an appalling killing of 3 children, stabbing of 8 others and 2 adults. And the prime suspect, was born in this country. He's not a Muslim as far as we know. But yet, people were ripe and ready to leap on it. That's the question.
That is a good point, Henry. And what that suggests, because let's be honest, obviously, most of that wasn't true. The person that these people thought had done this horrible thing wasn't even the person. But that kind of doesn't matter. Even if a Muslim or an asylum seeker or someone that came on a boat had done something as horrible as what happened in Southport, that wouldn't justify attacking random people in the street, attacking mosques, attacking libraries, and all that sort of thing. So I think you're right. I think that it's almost like the potential was there, and it's waiting for an excuse to kick off. That does feel like that, to be honest.
Yeah. And the question I pose to Ella and to our listeners here tonight is, where does this leave us as a country? Because you'll see the front pages and they seem to think that there's a watershed. The back of this thing has been broken, 500 arrests, lots of people going down, they're doing something at the weekend and they're in court and in jail by a Thursday, right? But what about the undercurrent? How long will this tale be? Because we've been boasting to France and Germany and all these other countries, we do multiculturalism, if you want to call it that, better than you. We are a country that's much more comfortable with our heritage and our past and our future than you are. Well, people were saying to me in France, what's happening in Britain? I was in Paris and people were saying, are you safe? Are you okay?
Absolutely. I mean, that people like yourself and me and a number of people have been around for a long time. This isn't shocking. We always knew that there was that there was real visceral racism under the skin, and that's been whipped up over the last, since Brexit and before, since 9/11, let's say. It's been whipped up and increased, and it's got to the bit where it does burst out and look ugly. But coming back to the point of let's not let's not assume, and this is what was so beautiful about last night's anti-racist solidarity demonstrations, which I was in one in Walthamstow. That to me was the country saying, yeah, okay, we see that there's this really worrying contingent, but that's not us. Look, this is who we are as a community. And I found that really uplifting. And I'm sure, just speaking to some of the other people on the demo who've been having quite a hard week, it's been hard thinking, as I think you said just now, they're looking at people on the tube and thinking, oh, are you looking at me in a certain way? Yep. Feeling that I haven't really felt for a long time, certainly not in London. And being with a load of people last night who are all saying, no, that's not us. This is us. We are this beautiful, diverse, city or country. Actually, I think that's super important. I think it's super important to root, and I think that's the counter to this. That's
but counter to what you're saying though is what the likes of Farage, Lee Anderson, and others say, that there is a percentage. I mean, not all of them. Not all the people who feel the way that some of the guys who've been hauled before the courts feel were on those demonstrations. They come from somewhere. They're not aliens. They're British people who will probably be cheering football teams over the next 8-9 months that have black players, and they don't see themselves as racist, but they feel that they have a point to make. And as Ella was saying, it's better that they make it in the public square as opposed to on Telegram or underground, festering away. How does one resolve that?
That's a good point. I mean, you could be practical. I get it, the whole argument about I'd rather see the racists and know where they are than have it all go underground. I don't know if that follows when you're talking about actual attacks. That black guy that was beaten up by 20 or 30 people
in Manchester. I mean, Piccadilly Gardens.
Thinking, I'm glad that this is in real life rather than online. So we need to. I think there's things that make sense rhetorically, but when it comes to actual people on the streets, I don't want anyone to be scared on our streets. Anyone to be scared of who they are, walking around on the streets of Britain. So the first aim is to get it off of the streets. Now that doesn't cure it. Of course it doesn't. You've got people that maybe have a genuine upset about the lack of services and how they feel left behind, all that sort of stuff, and they've been directed at a group of vulnerable people. Now, that doesn't stop just because we get them off the streets. That's still there, and you'll get the individual interpersonal attacks. People saying horrible things on buses, people being beaten up late at night. The attacks that we've seen, that we've known, to be honest, as long as black and brown people have been in this country. So it needs more than that. We need to think, okay, how do we improve lives for all of our communities, including those working class ones, black or white.
All right, Maurice, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Time. That's Maurice McLeod, anti-racist campaigner, social commentator and Labour councillor. It's Henry Bonsu. Let's hear from you.